All right, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Citizen Council live stream. I'm Chris Castleman, and I'm waiting for, oh, she's back. Brandi is here. Hey, Brandi, how's it going?
It's good. I couldn't find my earbuds. I opened up the case. I don't know where they are, so.
There you go. I had one fly out of my ear and land in the trash can today, so I had to go trash
Oh,
can.
no. Better than the toilet, right?
I think they make noise, or maybe it's the case that makes noise. Isn't there a way to
They do.
make it like
The little
locate?
buds the little buds make noise too. I could hunt them down. They're probably in a pocket somewhere.
So you didn't find them?
No.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Oh, they'll show up.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going good. I'm getting ready for surgery. So I've been kind of doing like food prep stuff because I'm not allowed to lift more than 6 pounds. So
That's not a lot.
no, for 6 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you'll have to hire some extra help around the house.
I have a bunch of friends that are, everybody's like taking one day off of work so that I can have people hang out and become potato with me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do a food chain or whatever they call it. Food train. I don't know what right when people get like,
Because I eat like a pretty, I don't know, like weird diet. So I'm like preparing everything ahead of time.
well, there you go. If you just eat salads, that's under 6 pounds, you know.
Yeah. Like I eat mostly the opposite of salads.
Okay.
So yeah.
6 pound cheeseburgers.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Very good. Very good. Well, have you been out petitioning, collecting signatures?
I have not been out much. So Rob has been taking over the petitioning. I have been doing a lot of coaching. So I have not gotten out and doing the petitions much. I believe they are in Napa right now.
Okay. Yeah, he was live earlier.
Yeah.
Rob went to the Portland. Oh, I wanted to call them riots. They weren't really riots. It was actually kind of an actual protest. There wasn't really much going on. That was interesting. I watched him. I guess it was last Friday. Did you see that?
I haven't seen it yet.
What do you think about all the Portland stuff? The like people protesting ICE and then trying to fight each other. You got Antifa and then you got Patriots on one side, Antifa on the other.
I think that the people who are on the side of Antifa should look up what the definition of fascist is without the left-right connotation. Just look at the philosophy and the behaviors, and you might be surprised to find that you're on the wrong side of the fence on that one.
Yep. I've actually had that conversation with them and they don't get it. And if you stuff online perpetuates it. Like I think if you go look up fascism, maybe they've changed it, but look up fascism on like Wikipedia, it almost makes it look like it's for the right, like that the right are fascists. And like it's probably a spectrum, and I'm sure on both ends,
Yes.
far ends of the spectrum, there exists fascism, but it's definitely more closely aligned with Antifa and the far left right now.
So it's funny that you should bring this up because this has been something I'm getting ready to produce more long form content. And this has been something that I've been looking into really heavily. And I came across something that I think is really valuable. And it explains, I don't know if you can see this, if it'll focus in on it.
See it.
But it explains how fascism and communism are actually at the same end of the spectrum. So it goes
like a circle.
Yeah. Well, no, not a circle, like on a linear line. I mean, if you wanted to do a snake, like a snake biting its tail type of circle, but like we're referring to government's involvement and control over individuals' lives and the methods by which they will achieve that. And if you look at what these people are doing, I mean, if you think about, so they're protesting ICE, right? Did we get into social contract and Socratic philosophy last?
I don't know.
So, you know,
That sounds complicated.
the protests against ICE, what are they protesting, right? No human is illegal. Well, no nation is a sovereign nation without borders. When I was born into America and I chose to stay here and establish my career here, pay taxes to the system, I entered into a social contract with my nation, right? So I agreed to live by the laws that kept me alive as a child, that have helped me get to where I am as an adult. So there's the concept of the social contract. In that social contract, I pay my government to keep me safe from threats, both foreign and domestic. I pay taxes for a sovereign nation. So if we don't have borders, we don't have a sovereign nation. What am I paying taxes to? I don't have a country anymore. And so really what they're doing is abandoning the idea that we as Americans are entitled to our nation. They're actually choosing to take something from Americans that Americans have not elected to give up. It's a little fascist. I don't know. Like if you look up the definition of fascism and what the behaviors are, I shouldn't say the definition. I should say, what are the behaviors characteristic of a fascist regime? The violent rhetoric that is coming out of the left it's gotten worse, Chris. Like Democratic politicians doubling down, defending threats or defending their wish that a toddler should die in his mother's arms so that that family will align with their political beliefs. Like, I hope you suffer that your child dying in your arms so you'll finally agree with me. And I
Yeah,
can't,
too
it's a
far.
level of sickness that, and so when we talk about the ICE protests there in Portland, it is the epitome of that sickness. I don't know what these people are protesting. When they say no kings, how do you describe the last 4 years of the Biden administration where people lost their jobs for saying that women don't have penises?
Or because they wouldn't get a vaccine.
I mean, dude, there were people that wanted to legit put people
My
in
body, my choice.
camps
Yep.
put the unvaccinated in camps. Like, I don't know, that's a little fascist. So
Yeah.
I don't know what I feel like
The immigration thing is just weird especially if you simplify it down to just like trespass. Like if you own property and you own it, you're allowed to set the rules and say, hey, I don't want certain people here. Or if you say you had a party and you eventually say, hey, I don't want you here anymore, like you're causing trouble, like maybe you're allowed to come here for vacation or what, right? Like an Airbnb, you have an Airbnb,
sure.
come on
They
over
reject
for.
the concept of private property, though.
It's crazy. Like it's nuts. If you went over to their camp, because I think the one in Portland, I think they actually have like a little house there nearby, or an apartment where they're like staging. And it's like if you walked in there, they'd try and kick you out. So they do understand it. They just apply the law or that logic and reasoning differently, which is like almost the definition of insanity. Like
I mean,
if you don't know how to. Sorry, what was that?
privilege for me, but not for thee.
Right, right. You apply your rules for different people and different situations. I worked at a state park once in California at the front kiosk, letting people in, checking their reservations and giving people day passes and stuff. And I worked with this one lady, and she would just like depending on the person, there were campsites available or there weren't. She followed no set of normal rules. Like we had campsites available, but like if she didn't like the person, all of a sudden we didn't have campsites available. But she was like a park ranger, so I couldn't do anything about it. But it scared the bejeebus out of me because I can't be around people like that. Like it scares me. It honestly does. Like how do you function?
Because their
Anyway.
moral compass is not rooted in any kind of public ethic. So like when we agree to live in a society, we agree to a public ethic. The left has fully rejected the public ethic. So no rules or no laws that we have on the books are being enforced the way they were 5, even 10 years ago. What is being enforced? Vigilante justice. I get to decide who lives and who dies based on who I think deserves to live. That's horrifying. And
Yep.
I tell you, I've gone down like kind of a rabbit hole with this stuff over the past couple of weeks, because I'm looking into the root cause of politically motivated violence in the United States right now as we're seeing it, because we're seeing an insane uptick, and not just in violent acts, but in violent rhetoric coming from our elected officials. Some of them fairly high up in government with a significant amount of power. Some of them running for attorney general, who would decide who gets prosecuted and who doesn't, and is literally wishing death upon a fascist toddler. That is psychotic. And the scariest thing is, there are people out there who sympathize with it. Well, what did he do to justify that? That is the exact same thing as saying, well, what was she wearing when she got gang raped? Maybe if she wasn't wearing a skirt. It's the same shit. And these people are like, the entire left, the entire Democratic Party has been infiltrated by abusers. Like textbook, look it up, abuse. And I've kind of,
I was just gonna say, that's why I keep saying over and over, people, if you're of the Democrat persuasion, if you're liberal, get involved. Get involved with your local Democrat party, because they need your sanity. I don't think all the Democrats out there are insane. I don't think they all agree with what's going on. I don't think they agree with this far left extremism. So if you're out there and you have some sort of objectivity and rationality to your beliefs, they're just a little left of center, please get involved, because
yeah. I mean, it's bad.
It's crazy.
And even, and one of the things that they've been, when you call people Nazis over and over and over and over again, because they disagree with you, not because they're participating in any type of behavior that's characteristic of an actual Nazi, just because, you think that they're wrong. When you tell people that these people are a threat to democracy, what is the logical reaction to a Nazi who's threatening democracy?
Well, that was during the election. That was over and over, that Trump is a threat to democracy, yada, yada, yada. I mean, that was like repeated over and over and over.
Yeah, more times than Kamala Harris said, what was it? Oh God, now I can't. It was something along the lines of "be that." God,
I wish stuff.
It was so good. It was the same quote over and over and over of like, what can be.
Oh, burdened by what has been, or something.
I feel unburdened by what has been.
Yeah.
I wish I could.
I think you had a montage you put on your Facebook at one point. I think you're the reason I even came upon it. Yeah, that was crazy.
So I'm doing like a deep dive into where this is coming from. And if you go really deep down the rabbit hole, I'm toying with the idea of writing up basically like showing the way the left has released mentally ill people into the general population, people who cannot self-sustain and never would be able to, closed mental hospitals systematically, closed in mental institutions, have propagated this type of communication, this type of culture that they know we can prove is making people sick, making people mentally ill. And then they have worked them up into this frenzy. And it's almost like it has been done on purpose, like mentally ill people have been weaponized against America. And it's scary.
They tell them it's a morality issue over and over and over. It's a morality issue. These people are immoral. These people on the other side, they're not just your political enemies. They're actually a moral threat to our civilization. And it's like,
really interesting word that you use.
Jeez.
Moral threat. Because morals and ethics mean two different things, right? So our morals are our own personal way that we think is right to live. Ethics is the overarching kind of social contract that we agree to live under. You don't violate laws because that's an ethical violation. You don't do things that are against policy. It's an ethical violation. But the way I choose to live is my own personal morals. When a person starts to apply their own morals to an ethics issue, you have a corruption. Nobody's morals belong in public ethics. It's not for anyone to tell anyone else how to live. And that can be taken on multiple ways, right?
Well, that was the about a year ago or so, I went down to it was when they got rid of Roe versus Wade, when the Supreme Court reversed that Roe versus Wade decision. It was an abortion rally. So they were like pro choice. They were rallying for, bodily autonomy, my body, my choice. There were all these signs up. So I went down there with them and I stood there with a sign that said, stop the mandates or stop the vaccine mandates. And every time I held the sign up, they would be like, dude, you're in the wrong crowd. Like, what are you doing? And they were like actually trying to fight me. They were trying to rip my sign out of my hand and rip it up. And I go, no, same team. Like, my body, my choice, right? Like this is what we agree with. Like bodily autonomy is a thing. You can't tell me what to do with my own body. It's my body.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, this is an abortion rally. And I go, right. But I mean, like, I don't necessarily agree with that, but isn't this the same? Like, aren't we same team here? Same team. Like, we can disagree on other issues, but like on this issue, bodily autonomy is cool, right? Like, don't you guys support like the right for people to refuse vaccines? And it like broke them. They couldn't. I mean, I was just some crazy antagonistic person, I guess, for having the same exact thought as them.
And they actually had to put hands on you. Like, they had to destroy your sign. They had to like become confrontational with you. These are people who will turn in a split second to go, freedom of speech, when they say or do, someone that they agree with says or does something terrible. But when their logic is challenged, all of a sudden they have a right to assault you because, I don't know, maybe their feelings, something.
Yep. It was pretty crazy. I actually got attacked at one point. They did rip up my sign. And but yeah, and then the most uncomfortable was there was a group of young girls, like high school aged, and they were genuinely uncomfortable with my presence. Like, they probably had never experienced like because in my mind, I really wasn't counter protesting. Like, I seriously, like, same team people. I wanted to know what you guys thought, but to them, to young high schoolers, it was a counter protester, right? And I was clearly making them uncomfortable. So, I kind of like moved over to the side and I was just talking with them calmly. And I'm like, look, I want to understand you guys. Like, what is making you guys so upset? You guys are visibly upset. Like one of the little girls was like screaming at me. I'm like, come on, like, let's lower the temperature. And I'm like, what is so upsetting about this? And they were like, because you have no relevance to this protest. Like, you're just inserting yourself and you have no relevance. And it's like, but okay, and I go, even if I give you that for a second, okay, let's say I'm irrelevant. So what is relevant here? And they were like, abortion. Like, we're here to talk about Roe versus Wade and abortion. I go, okay. I go, what is that flag? And one of their friends was like holding this flag the whole time. And they're like, you don't know what this flag is? And I go, no, I've never seen that flag in my life. They're like, it's the trans rights flag. And I'm like, guys, come on. Like, can't make this stuff up. And that actually broke them. It made them, they were kind of like, okay. The girl with the flag was like, okay, you got us. You're right. This has nothing to do with abortion.
It's not even hard.
And I'm like, guys, come on. But I let them go. They were, they were young. They'll learn. Hopefully, they're our future. They're voting age now.
And I worry more about the people who are like in their 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, because the young people are going to be faced with reality, and a lot of them are going to come around. But these people who have lived off the government for decades there are now a lot of people my age who've literally lived off their parents their entire adult life. I've watched it happen you've probably seen it too, and we're same generation. these people have batshit crazy ideas about how the world should be because they've never had to really fully participate in the world as a fully agent autonomous individual.
Yep.
They've always been fed by someone else other than their own hand. And that person's mind goes to really scary places when they've never actually had to be responsible for literally feeding themselves. And
Or sometimes they've just been lucky. Like they went to high school, got good grades, went to college, got good grades, got a good job, got a house, like everything just, from their own efforts just worked out, or they got lucky. But it's like, and they've just never had hardship. And then all of a sudden they have hardship and they go, holy shit, this government is actually causing these hardships. I don't know.
In the Buddhist scripture, it talks about suffering not leading to enlightenment. That's the whole story of Siddhartha Gautama. He was a prince. He goes, and at the end of his pilgrimage, he discovers that in fact, one suffering in and of itself does not lead to enlightenment. And I've always struggled with that because it does seem like maybe it's the word suffering and maybe it's life experience. I don't know. And maybe he meant suffering in a different way. And I'm like not quite wrapping my head around it correctly. I have a workbook that I'm working on right now because I've had some questions lately. And yeah, I don't know. That thought will probably come together sometime later tonight.
No, like one of the first when I, because I did that. I went to high school, college, got a job, had a house, everything was going fine. And then 2008, the stock market crashed, the fall of 2008. And all of a sudden your like 401k like got hit pretty hard. And you're like, huh? Like that wasn't supposed to happen. A lot of people had money in the stock market and stuff, and it just went like that. Like it within a year or so it like came back, but you didn't know in that moment. And all of a sudden you're like, holy crap. And you're like, well, why did that happen? Like, was it just random? Like, was it, one big company? And then you start realizing that it was because of a lot of government involvement. And I guess you could praise the government for bailing out some of the auto industry and stuff and like actually helped reverse it. But it's like, who caused it in the first place? I don't know. Not the greatest. But
we're kind of I think we're hitting another shelf or some kind of cliff with private equity.
It seems like we'd have to, like, if you really start looking into the economics, this is not supposed to be working. Everything that's like this is crazy. I mean, the amount of money that was pumped into the markets during COVID, like artificially infused into the markets, like, I mean, that's part of the inflation thing, but how is everything else hung on? I don't know, but we'll see. I'm not smart enough for that. That's too much economics, and I don't know much about the stock market. I don't follow any of that. So,
well, it's hard to really understand when there is so much artificial manipulation involved. It's if the system was not so, I don't know, rigged. I was trying to think of a better, like a more
manipulated.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
not fair. It's not a fair fight.
It's really not. It really is. I mean, the wealthy have gotten so much wealthier in the past 5 years. That is a fact. I mean, wealth really did shift. They gave out all of that stimulus money. That stimulus money went right into the hands of billionaires through Walmart, Target, Nike, that people just went out and urged. Yeah, Amazon.
Like, people are so, they hate on Elon Musk so much for being so rich and what he does with his money. And people like hate on him for trying to influence the political realm and stuff with his money and free speech with buying Twitter and all that. And it's like, at least that's what he's doing with it. But it's like, and then nobody talks about Jeff Bezos with his like disgusting new wife and how he just parades around the planet in yachts and hangs out with all the celebrities. He's so disgusting. He's how does no one talk about that? Or maybe I don't know.
This is going to be a really like unpopular opinion, but I think Jeff Bezos is a straw man.
What does that mean?
I think he's set up to be an easy fall guy
For
because
what?
he to be
I'm curious.
unlikable. So nobody actually notices that the Saudis are like funding mosques all over the planet, and then our governments are funneling Muslims all over the planet.
Huh.
No one notices that, like, so maybe I have a different perspective because I actually lived around Muslims and I actually lived around Israelis. I lived in the most diverse place in the planet, Queens, New York. And the things that I saw, and now that these things are being related back to money and social unrest, destabilizing the West has been the goal the whole time, and they are winning. So there's so many layers to all. I'm telling you, I've gone down some rabbit holes in the last couple of weeks. And I know it sounds conspiracy and it sounds crazy, but like, what would you do if you had all of the money in the world? Well, I shouldn't say you. What do you
Probably
think
what Elon's doing.
if they were born into money, given everything they want, have, they can like literally buy any human they want, buy any object they want, literally do anything. I think they get bored. They've gotten bored and now they're playing little games on the global scale. And I mean, so if you follow the money, that's what proves it. Follow the money. And you can see where all of the money from all of this stuff is coming from. It just doesn't make sense that the left would care so much to free Palestine out of the goodness of their heart when Palestinians in Gaza would cut their heads off. They would decapitate y'all.
I think it was just one of those things where, like, if the right feels a certain way and Trump feels a certain way, that they just have to counter it. They just have to believe the opposite and go for it. I think it was one of those things. No money. All right. It definitely was weird. So I don't. There's something going on for sure.
If you've ever
That's
spent
over my head.
time around parochial Muslim populations and parochial Israeli populations, and I'm not talking about Hasidic Jews. There's some really weird stuff that goes on in those communities that, like, I'm not about. Your average Jewish Israeli person, I trained with them. I trained in Krav Maga at the Krav Maga Federation in Lower Manhattan. They're kind of in Midtown. When you experience these two cultures, it is shocking to me to hear people saying free Palestine. It is after the things I witnessed in New York City. So it's like 98 degrees out, right? And it's like 99% humidity. Everyone is wearing their summer clothing, and you will see Muslims walking down the street, the dude walking in front of the woman and the children, and he's wearing board shorts and a t-shirt and
That's
flip-flops.
crazy.
She is in head to toe black cloth.
Yeah.
And that's
always made me, like, you look at it and you're like, huh?
It's disgusting. They regularly kill women. Like, they kill gays. And this ideology has been exported all over the world, and everywhere they export becomes socially destabilized. And I'm just saying, this is what I've seen when I followed the money. And when
my only experience is seeing the dude in the board shorts and a very American clothing and fancy sunglasses and fancy shoes, and then you see the women and the children all in their cultural attire, and you're like, that's just bizarre. Like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like why? Like, okay, just because your culture, your religion believes that the women have to wear that, it doesn't say the man must wear American clothing, right? Like, you still have a choice. You can choose to still wear your, whatever you call it, cultural or traditional clothing. Why doesn't the man do the same thing? Like, that kills me. It's like, that's disrespectful.
Because it's sexism, because it's misogyny, because it's really sadistic. It's
Like, how do
sadism.
you go home and when you like your wife is soaking wet in sweat from doing that, and you're just like, oh, how's that feel? I'm like, oh, well, I was nice and cool all day because I was in shorts and I had sunglasses.
Their
That
property,
guy's
their pets.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
I do have to say that now I also went to Columbia for my master's degree. I went to school with people from all over the world. I'm particularly grateful for the Africans I attended school with. I learned a lot from them. I went to school with a lot of Muslims. The people getting master's degrees are not the kind of Muslims that are behind, the orchestrated prayers in the streets, clogging up streets, like where, what's going on in the UK right now, in Germany right now. The stuff is crazy and it is real. And it is tied to Saudi and UAE money. And there are a couple other Muslim countries that are literally paying for the infrastructure. And then the governments are, because of refugee status, relocating these people. It's crazy. And it is causing major social problems. And they're basically saying that, like, white people with European culture are not entitled to have a nation with their social contract in place. And it's causing social destruction because who would have thunk?
Yeah. I feel like Europe's gonna implode before we do, actually, unless we start a civil war or something. But
They're already, it's only getting crazier too. Was it Latvia? Who was it that just installed an AI chat bot as a minister?
really, I don't
You,
know.
dude.
Well, speaking of AI,
And it's
I
I real. I mean, it's like I'm pretty sure it's real.
I was playing around with Elon Musk's AI, the
Grok.
what's Grok.
Yeah.
Um, they just released a new one like a couple days ago with higher levels of like image uh editing capability. And it's like you can give it an image and change it to a video, like any image. And so I put in like, here's me as a kid. Like, but like here, this is the picture that I started it with. Like that's just a
Whoa.
picture, old. I mean, that's me when I'm like, I don't know, 2, 3. And then you can tell it to make me walk. It's like, that's insane. And like that's an old photograph, so that one's easy because it's like grainy, but you can, I mean, I've put photos in there with, girls with long hair, and it flows and moves like you could do yourself. And it's pretty scary accurate. Like here's so this is where it can get crazy, right? You've got David Brock Smith on the right, and the senator from around here, and then the state senator, and then the governor of Oregon on the left, and just regular photo, and then you can make it move. I don't know that it has prompts, and you can tell it to be funny, so I told it to be funny. But he's eating the Oregon. I don't get it, but anyways, sorry, that's a little
That's
side.
wild.
But like, look how, I mean, that looks like them, and that's from an image. But anyway,
I'm looking
what
up right
like I did the political one so that because it concerns me that like people could do this with Trump or any, like, these are more local politicians, and like you could make a video essentially, and those were me just uploading it, and it had a prompt and it said like normal or fun, and I just hit fun, and it's like you can also type, like you could tell it like the one with me, this one of me, oh, gotta remove this, there you go, with me walking, it's like the first one, it just had me like drinking from the cup, but then I told it to have me walk off the screen, and it did. Like you can control the video, and you could uh, tell it to add things or remove things, like remove the plant sitting there on the table, and it's like crazy realistic.
That's scary. So have you heard about the chat GPT or the OpenAI agents that are, it wasn't just OpenAI. They did it with several different machines. And they gave it scenarios, and to avoid shutting itself off, it opted to blackmail a coworker, and it chose to have someone murdered. And these were specific, it explicitly violated commands to not hurt people and was totally ready to do it anyway. And so these were hypothetical scenarios, and they gave the chat bot access to all the companies. So it was all, a lab, kind of an experiment, right? Made a fake company, fake emails, all of the stuff. They gave all of it, and they found out that the chatbot found out that the person who was scheduled to turn it off had been having an affair, and the chatbot chose to use that information to blackmail the employee to not turn it off.
Wow.
And then the other one, it chose to kill the employee to save itself.
For some reason, though, I'm like less concerned that one of these will go like rogue on their own. And I mean, I guess when you throw robots in the mix, that's a little scary. But it's like, to me, like eventually they'll run out of power or whatever. You know, they're like battery power is not infinite. But like the ability for someone with nefarious intentions to like create a video, you know, started based on reality, like say the Portland, and you know, people protesting outside of Portland. You could take an incident there between like a protester and a cop, and you could turn it and change it a little bit and make it really believable. What's that?
Like a fake George Floyd?
Yeah. Well, like, so I don't think it was George Floyd, but it was someone right before him, Eric something, I think he was from New York City, but it was like the hands up, don't shoot thing.
Yeah.
That was a lie. Like they never said hands up, don't shoot. That wasn't a thing. And that caused a bunch of uproar just simply based on word of mouth, like people saying that it happened, even though it didn't. Imagine if there was a video put out of something like that happening, even though it really didn't happen. And normally you'd rely on the mainstream media to say, hey, no, that's a fake, that's AI. But things go viral on social media now without any ability to control that. And as AI progresses, it will be harder to detect that it's not real. Like much harder. I mean, these are like, I watch these videos of old photos of me, and like, you know, they're generated within seconds and they're believable. Like this is me and my brother playing with a bunny.
It is
from a photo.
It is weird though. I mean,
that's
it's
the photo,
good, but there is something uncanny about the movement of the rabbit and the movement of you guys' hands and stuff.
Well, that one's hard. That one's hard, but like I could see that one being hard for a computer. But I've done some others that are like you can't tell, especially like the least amount of editing. Like that's what I'm saying. Like say there was a protester and a cop, and let's say the video was like 15 seconds long, but they only used AI to edit like half a second of it, and like very lightly, but it changes what you're seeing. That would be how they could use it. I mean, this is me just putting an image in there and telling it to go to town in a couple seconds, and you can refine it and refine it. Somebody spent hours for sure with like, especially bigger impact like Trump or something. You could have him saying something or doing something.
So you said something that really caught like kind of like made a light bulb go off. They could manipulate one little thing and change the whole context of the video. Dude, mainstream media has been doing that for decades now. And that's why we're in the state we're in. Because mainstream media paints abusers as victims on a regular basis. And people fall for it.
Yeah. Well, they edit stuff out of context, right? Like they'll take
Yeah.
clips, but
Oh, they straight up lie. They'll straight up use pictures that don't go with, they get caught doing it all the time.
yeah. Well, now
Uh,
they'll have the power at their fingertips to be really, really good at it. And people who don't care about getting sued or getting in trouble, like now you have, like we were talking earlier about, the morality issue, like they're painting this as a morality issue. Well, all of a sudden, if you have people who are willing to assassinate Charlie Kirk, right? Like to go that far, um, with their thoughts. Like, how hard would it be for somebody to, instead of doing that, to go through footage of someone like Charlie Kirk and edit it so that he's saying something or doing something that actually never happened? Because that already, I mean, that was pretty much right when he was assassinated. That's what people did. They went on the internet and they pulled stuff completely out of context, or they just straight up misquoted him and lied. And that did enough damage. And it's like, imagine if people had the ability, and they pretty much do now, to take video and images and manipulate them to the point where it's almost undetectable. And this stuff is
so
like
I want to,
exponentially, the technology is getting exponentially better.
yeah. So like there was a point where it might not have been able to like easy to tell with the naked eye, but there is like data attached to the image that gives it away. But even
But there's ways that, so say I generated like a video, right? I can then record it with my phone, like
that
on another
erases your
device,
metadata,
and then
right?
there's no metadata, right? It's an
Right.
actual recording, and the grainier the better, maybe even, and you won't see a lot of the weird movements, maybe. And again,
I
all it has to do
wonder.
is go viral in a couple
Yeah.
hours on the internet,
Yeah.
and the damage is done. I'm at, again, something.
Anytime, like anytime something goes viral and there are not like eyewitness people who are there who saw it, who are giving their firsthand accounts and like video from multiple angles from multiple people, it's really hard to believe because you're right. I've wondered since this new technology hit the market, I think it's been less than a year since this new it's like a new what do they call them, not agents, a new machine,
Bots.
machine, a new AI. Then they were able to produce these really hyper realistic videos. There was
Yeah.
all of a sudden a whole bunch of really suspicious like civil unrest videos, and I always kind of wondered like, it's
It's
weird because technology just came out and now there's all of this really crazy stuff happening. Like, is it even really
especially if
happening?
it's foreign, like if like the Portland stuff, if there's somebody reading about it on the West Coast and it's someone reporting it, and no one over here is watching it, so they're not saying like, hey, that's not how it's happening, and but somebody over on the East Coast is consuming it, they're going to believe it. Or say it's from
Yeah,
a foreign country, say
yeah,
you said like Latvia, right? So say we on the sudden start consuming news and information coming out of that country, it could be completely false, and because we're not there, and then we're not hearing anybody say no, that's not true,
yeah.
we're going to believe it.
You really got
So
to get a lot of confirmation. And it was Albania. So listen to this.
okay.
Albania is the country that installed an AI chatbot named Dila as a virtual minister in September 2025. While the appointment is considered largely symbolic, it is part of a broader government initiative to use technology to combat corruption. So the really scary thing is
Hmm.
hearing this chat bot use emotional language, that it hurts her feelings that other members of the ministry or whatever didn't trust her. And I'm just like, you're a computer controlled by psychopaths. No one should trust you. And you should
Yeah.
not be using subjective, emotionally manipulative language. Like, this is already going way south.
Here's one that's more realistic. So oh, damn it, there's the original image, right? It's me and my dad.
Wow.
I mean, like, I guess if you stared at it for a long time, maybe like, do I have six fingers? I don't know. Like, maybe there's some
Maybe there's
giveaway that
something
there's
right.
AI, but like, I mean, that's
Yeah, there is
that's
like
pretty
there's something in
realistic.
your hand, and then your hand. There are telltale signs, but you do have
Yeah,
to look really close.
yeah. And these are grainy photos. I did it with some more recent photos of things, and it's crazy. Um, enough of baby
Amazing.
photos of me. They're just the only old photos. I wanted to try it with old photos because you can't, you don't have a lot of videos from back then. But
Yeah.
um, and my mom's watching, so I gotta. There you go, mom. You got to see.
How
We have
cool.
a photo of like the three of us pushing a lawnmower. That would be a fun one to make it
Yeah,
go push it.
that's cute.
Anyways,
It's
um,
I've started using AI for a ton of stuff, and really, like, I started using it as a research tool. So when I do, when I'm going to complete a research project, you have like this, you've got this series of questions, and you kind of like go one question leads to another question, leads to another question. So I'm able to use Chat GPT as basically a research tool and a data analysis machine. And it's amazing. Like
pretty crazy.
I can get like 2 weeks worth of work done in 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And that's a lot of what I've been working on, is some little side projects of things that I'm trying to get involved in and trying to help out in some areas by doing a little bit of problem solving and brainstorming and stuff like that. And man, I fed it all of my social theory stuff. So I have a whole bunch of journal articles, like thousands of them saved. So I fed it all that. I fed it all my research that I've done, all my schoolwork, like fed it my resume and all of my, not all my client work, because I've tried to feed it stuff that is not going to compromise like security stuff. So, but it has all of this information now on top of what it would already have access to pull
So how do I
from.
know I'm talking to the real Brandy?
You don't. I can make a dick joke.
Oh my, here you go.
If it was funny, you would know that I was a robot, because, well, my humor's
Oh
dry.
boy. Seriously though, like that, because we do have a lot of videos, right? This is like episode 30 something. So it's like it'd be interesting to feed an AI platform all the videos and I don't know, come draw conclusions
Yeah.
or
You know,
consume it and then make an artificial bot from those videos that is our likeness and sound and
yes.
thoughts. Like, can it do that? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's where they're thinking this is going to go. Um, the smartest minds that are working on this are not optimistic. We're going to have a major upheaval, lots of like mass unemployment. And it's because I think like, oh, okay, well, I'm a life and health coach. My value like can't be replicated. The connection that I form with my clients can't necessarily be replicated. Like, you can't replicate meeting in human and hugging and like, but you can replicate a ton of things that my clients do for a living. So like, yeah, I maybe can get by okay, and I'm harder to replace, but the people who pay me for coaching, if they don't have money to pay me, then, there's a huge downstream effect to this stuff. And I would say probably 99% of Americans it's not even in their mind to think to prepare for what's coming. And it's coming quick. I would say the next 15 years are going to be crazy. By 2028, we're going to see massive shifts,
Well,
massive
like what
unemployment.
happens once AI is better than the real person? So like say I went totally virtual. Like hey, we're doing this virtually right now.
Yeah.
I've already attended a lot of city council meetings virtually, county commission meetings virtually. No one actually has to see me to vote for me on the ballot. What if I made an AI version of myself that was better than me.
They expect that
It
that's
didn't curse, it didn't misspeak, it didn't say stuff that's like shooting yourself in the foot, you know, and
I bet it would be
I
boring.
used AI to analyze our voter base so it appealed to the majority of voters in a way that I can't, and won elections. And then I just sent that AI bot to speak for me at whatever, say I'm elected to city council. It would go and attend the meetings, consume the information, and do a better job of representing our county than me. That's probably somewhere in the next couple years
Until
possible.
you decide, well, I mean, honestly, these chatbots probably are not that much different from humans. When you look at people that are running for attorney general in Virginia, wishing death on a toddler to sway political, because they think the death of a toddler will sway political opinions. Like
What if
it's
they're
hard
right?
to
What if they've
imagine.
actually analyzed the voter base and that's actually a winning platform?
Well, that's what's
That's
got
what's
people
scary.
really worried. That's what's really, because if that's the road we go down, America as we imagined it could be is not going to happen.
Because like, how
We're,
do you train an AI agent to be correct as opposed to popular, right? Because like Google searches, like the normal search platform, which AI is kind of like based on, it's like information. You want information, and you have to have a way of, is that information correct? And usually Google, it's like, well, it's correct if it's popular because we're trying to give people the most popular
yeah,
option. Right? So how do you, like, I don't know, this is probably above my pay grade, but
I
like,
think probably
how
the
do you
problem
help it learn that you need to be right, not popular?
the problem is there is very often no right answer. There is just the answer that upsets the fewest number of people.
Which is popular, and that's scary. If we go to a pure populist society where the simple majority wins everything,
Yeah.
that's not at all what our founding fathers wanted.
Yeah.
Not
It's
at all.
crazy. Um,
That is the quickest way to do socialism
well,
and
if
fascism.
you look at like America's a very young country. So if you look at Europe, like private property is rare. It's exorbitantly expensive. Most people rent now. Home ownership is, you know, pretty much out of the question. I think the advantage that we have here in America is pure land mass. Most Europeans don't realize how big America actually is. And so they say, oh, Americans don't travel. Bro, our country is the size of your continent. Like going from Oregon to Florida is like, you know, going from Spain to Russia. I think. I
Yeah,
think it's
like
about like
India,
the
probably.
distance. It was crazy to me. So when I
Yeah.
was helping ship supplies into Ukraine when the war first broke out, coordinating supplies and getting them to couriers in. So they would land in Germany, and I had a courier that would pick them up in Germany, drive them, I believe, through Poland to the border, and then be able to hand off at the border to a courier that would cross the Poland-Ukraine border, I think is the route that they were taking, if I have my geography correct.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, where was I going with that? It's
You're
40
currying
items.
somewhere.
Yeah, and so, oh, just how close together everything is, because they're like, oh, well, we'll have it there in like within, she'll be in Poland in 6 hours, and I'm like, they'll have it in Ukraine. It's like a 12-hour trip or something like that. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I would barely even be in the middle of California by that time if I were, you know, heading in a straight line. But
Lots of train trips. You can take trains pretty much anywhere. It's
yeah,
cool.
so we do have a land mass advantage where we have a lot of property to sell. So there is actually huge opportunities for home ownership in America. People are just so used to having someone else do the work for them that they never imagine saving up 15, 20, $25,000, which you could do in 5 years. Like if you're really serious about it. I worked 3 jobs and went to school full time in my 20s. Couldn't do that shit now because I'm in my 40s and I'm tired all the time. But when you're young, you really
I took
can.
2 naps today,
Good for you, man. Good for
short
you.
naps.
Love it. But when you're young, you can hustle, and there's so much land in America. There is land to buy and build on. There's a big issue with government standing in the way of development here in America, and that is something that just
Yep.
absolutely reeks of corruption. Um, California, definitely looking at you. Um,
Even just
also,
here locally, Coos Bay is doing this moratorium on storage units. So you own a piece of commercial
yeah,
property and they're like, nope. So you can do anything but a storage unit.
yeah. I came
It's like,
across that story about a
why?
month and a half ago, and it was just in passing, and I kind of was like, huh. So I think what they did is they built that big storage unit. They're out just at a Bunker Hill. And I think the agreement with the company was you come in and build this big building and we'll put a moratorium until your building is full.
Yep.
Well, what that does is it basically creates a monopoly.
Yep.
So
And if
now
it
there's
wasn't
no
like that, there's
competition.
just, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
The whole point of bringing in additional industry is to get prices lower, to create competition. So what they did is absolutely it's non-compete like policy.
It just doesn't make sense. Like if you, so say tomorrow you bought a commercial property in Coos Bay and you wanted to put a storage unit
Yeah,
business on that property,
yeah,
and let's say there is no market for it, like because there's
yeah,
the city does not need anymore, then you'd find that out pretty quick and you'd go out of business, and then the property would be for sale and somebody
yeah,
else could buy it and put another Starbucks there, because we need more Starbucks, right?
yeah.
We have so
Oh,
many
there's no
Starbucks that they're
moratorium.
actually closing them, but we need to put a moratorium on storage units.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
So there's no moratorium on storage units for North Bend, is there?
Not that I know of.
It's just for Coos Bay. So we would really want to look at the North Bend City Council. It was the city council that made this decision, right?
Mhm.
So asking the North Bend City Council, why was this not put past the residents? Why didn't you
Well, no,
ask
no.
the
So this was
residents?
Coos Bay who did it.
Yeah, so the Coos Bay City
Yeah.
Council, like Coos
Yeah.
Bay residents should
Yep.
be approaching their city council and saying, why? And to the city
I
council,
mean, no, but
did you
no one should be able to do that. Like, you should not be able to tell
right,
somebody
private
what they can and
industry,
kind of
yeah.
build on their own property. It's crazy. But
It, it is a perversion of free enterprise. All the storage units are full. Everyone's complaining about it. Now this big new facility gets built, and what are the prices?
even
Are
if
the
they
price?
weren't full, even if there was no market anymore for storage units because we have so many and no one wants to
Yeah,
use them, if
yeah,
some idiot wants to go and spend their money and build a new storage unit,
that's their prerogative.
because also maybe there's a lot of vacant storage units because they're like shitty. Like I know somebody who said
Yeah,
they have storage unit still out of state because there's no good climate controlled ones here in the city.
yeah,
So what if somebody wants to build a nice new facility with climate controlled units, but they can't because there's a moratorium? Well, now you have a city with crappy storage units and we're stuck because no one
yeah.
can build nice new ones. So like it just doesn't make, there's no way to make it make sense unless you're an asshole. And
Yes.
I think that's what we've got on city
I
council
think
right
they
now.
got
So
into an agreement with this building, with this company that built that. You see that huge building, right?
yeah, the U-Haul one. Yep, right
Yeah,
near O'Reilly's. It's huge.
I'm imagining they did some kind of deal with that building, and it's some
Yeah,
kind of agreement. And you're right. It's anti-capitalism. It's
it's
anti-free market.
anti-American.
It is. It really at the heart, it is
Yeah.
anti-American. I think it's pretty crappy that they did it. I don't, it's tough because I don't live in Coos Bay. And so a part of me is not my circus, not my monkeys. It's not really it like,
It's a big city though around here, and people utilize it.
I
So
want to tell the people of the city of Coos Bay, like, it's your city, do something about it.
yeah,
Like
But
when
then they go to vote for these people for city council and they're like, oh, well, I know Stephanie. She's so nice. Oh my gosh. It's like, great.
does
She can
Stephanie not
be your
hold a
friend,
brain for a
but like,
business?
does she have
No.
to be city councilor? Is she
Yeah,
making good decisions? But that's so, that's why we got to educate people that this voting thing matters, understanding who
yeah,
you're voting for matters, and getting more people to vote and participate in the elections and run
yeah.
for office. Because maybe Stephanie is run unopposed. Maybe she keeps getting these positions because no one's challenged her. There's not a better option out there. So, people got to look within. So, but I don't live in city limits, and a
The
lot of
sad
people I
thing
know
is
don't.
they
So,
didn't even explain their decision to anybody. Like
oh, I'm sure
the
they have an explanation. These people, you try and talk to them, and they've got a million explanations. The problem is none of them make sense.
I just hate the fact that, listen, everybody has bad ideas sometimes. Everybody. I hate the fact that they have these ideas and they don't vet them among the residents, the people who actually have to live with these decisions. They just decide in this little microcosm what's best for everyone else. And they don't think that it's okay to have bad ideas. It's okay to bring stuff to people and say, hey, let's work on this, and have it ultimately fall through the cracks and not be right or come out differently. It's not okay to make governance decisions in shrouds of secrecy and refuse to I mean, we can't say they
Well,
refuse to,
there's
we haven't
there's
asked, but
different types of bad ideas, like designing a park poorly is like a bad idea, right? Like not having enough swings or something on
sure,
the swing set. But
sure.
like there should be boundaries for government officials, and like imposing restrictions like that should just not be a thing. It shouldn't be in your city charter. You shouldn't be able to um, do these moratoriums. I don't. Maybe
So
maybe I'm the crazy one.
they do moratoriums on pot shops. You're only allowed to have so many pot shops within a square mile
And I
of,
don't like
within,
them, but I still don't agree with it. That there should be a moratorium on stuff like that.
yeah.
But they haven't.
And
They
that's
just
all
next to
zoning.
Little Caesars in Coos Bay, they just popped up another pot shop. So like, why? So no more storage units, but yes for pot. It's crazy, but
It gets into the city planning, and so you don't end up with like bars right next to schools. But then the city of Coos Bay makes the decision to put a school next to a porn shop.
well, that's technically the county. Not technically, that is the county. That's outside
Is it?
city limits. Yeah,
No.
yeah, the Lighthouse School. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's across from the Adult Fun Center and the
Yeah.
Bachelor's Inn. Yeah, that's county. Yeah, Bunker Hill there is county.
Oh, wow.
When you once you cross the bridge, so the U-Haul place and Fred Meyer are like the last properties in city limits, and you cross the bridge there. That's all that is county, like 7-Eleven, Shake and Burger. Yep, yep.
That doesn't make any sense. Is that where they're trying to redraw the boundary lines of the city and bring all
Some
those
of
people
it,
into the
yeah.
city?
They'll tell you uh that they're not trying to annex any of that, but it's kind of their long-term goal. But yeah,
Are those properties on city water systems? Of course they are. I'm sorry, but if you're on a city water
probably,
system and you're on a city, if you're on the city sewer system, you're a part of the city. Like
yeah.
that
Well, that's
should
they
just,
extend the urban growth boundary so they can do that.
yeah,
So they then are obligated to actually provide those services. And then once you're paying those services, they can put fees on your utility bills.
yeah,
That's one of the things that the legislators just changed, that they can actually control. That used to have to go to the voters, which is interesting because it doesn't only affect voters, because if you're outside the city limits but you're on the city system, you're paying that utility bill. But anyways, now the city councils can control those rates and put fees and things like that on those bills to bring in extra revenue. And I believe that's why they're both the city of North Bend and the city of Coos Bay are trying to extend the urban growth boundary, because that's a way to bring in more revenue. But they tell people, no, 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 it's not. It actually, it's going to cost us a lot of money because we're going to have to provide these utilities at cost, on us for these people. It's like, come on. It's all, come on. But there's dumb enough electorate out there to believe it right now.
They're
So
going to
we got to
annex
get
all these people in at the cost of the taxpayer. Why do it then?
exactly
If it's going to cost all this money,
right. What's your
why are we
motivation? Why are you
spending money?
doing it? Kind of seems like maybe you're fibbing and lying to me and manipulating the facts and misinforming me. But they would never do that because they're good city councilors.
Man,
They
I
would
think
never do that.
where the rub comes down to, Chris, is the electorate is saying we don't want to pay for all of this stuff. And the cities are continuing to try to find ways to make them pay for it anyway.
Yes. But that's why if we have 25% voting rate out there right now in the smaller local elections, that's a 75% potential out there of people who can be added to that electorate and change the outcomes. That's a huge, you could quadruple the amount of people participating in elections. Not only
Easily.
people participating by voting, but participating by running for office. That's,
Yeah.
not only not have enough voters, we don't have enough people to vote for. So,
I wish I could tell people that it's not that scary. Like, I wish I could just make people believe me that it's really not that bad. And you do have to make choices on how you choose to emotionally react to stuff and how you choose to, take stuff on and or push stuff away. You do have to kind of have some strong boundaries. But like the process of running for commissioner, I'm running against John Sweet. Honestly, I couldn't be running against a nicer guy. Like, whatever you think of the way he's run the county, he's a very nice man. Like, he's very warm to me. He's very just creating a positive atmosphere. I'm able to meet with him and have lunch with him and just talk about stuff. And he's just warm and inviting. I don't know that there is a lot of, like, what you went through with the school board was the ugliest I think I've seen in the past 10 years or so since I've been back. I know Melissa was given a pretty hard time when she ran. But otherwise, it's really not, I don't know. It's not like the party politics are pretty icky. But when you meet with people outside of that partisan politic and you meet them as human beings on the level of what can we do to help problem solve? People will meet with you, people will talk to you, people will collaborate with you, even as much of like as a provocateur kind of that I have been. Most people are still willing to meet with me, work with me, tell me what they like and don't like, for the most part. And
no, out of the three commissioners, John was always willing to meet with me. There
yeah,
was
yeah,
the one commissioner, I mean, I was running against him, so maybe that's part of it. But Bob Main wouldn't meet with me, but he had a pattern of doing that with a lot of people. But
yes,
John Sweet, always willing to talk, always willing to meet with me. It just drove me nuts though, because we never got anywhere. He
yeah,
was never actually listening. It was
yeah,
very superficial. One point he like came up to me at another meeting, a homeless advisory meeting, and I hadn't been to commissioner meetings in months, and I used to go to every single one of them. And he comes up, he's like, "Hey man, I missed you. I haven't seen you in a while." He goes, where have you been? Why haven't you been coming?" And I go, "Because you guys don't listen to me anymore. Why would I come and talk to you guys if you're not even going to listen to anything I say?" He's like, he threw paper at me. He's like, "Why do you have to go and like make it negative? I was just trying to have a conversation with you." And I'm like, because I'm trying to make our conversation
yeah.
be relevant and constructive. Like, I'm giving you an answer. You asked me a question. So he's, I don't know. I Yeah, as if he was like my grandpa, I would freaking love him. Or my uncle or something, right?
Yeah.
But as a policymaker, he just doesn't listen.
I mean,
Um,
it's one
he has
thing
to
to
like do what I
disagree.
say, but like you're not even listening to what I'm saying. We can't even talk about it because you're not
Yeah.
understanding what's coming out of my mouth. But anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. It is a little bit of a difference between like And I think this is where people kind of get hung up in politics is you can disagree on how you do work, disagree on what work you do, disagree on what solutions you work on, but you can still make the environment inviting, friendly, positive. And sure, there's going to be tensions. There's going to be episodes of conflict, but civility goes so far. You know, and I do now looking at like outside of Oregon, even up in Eugene, Portland, outside of Oregon, and I see the political atmospheres, and I'm a little bit grateful for what we have here in Coos Bay, because even as contentious as it's gotten, Chris, especially with Marcia, excuse me.
Marcia.
What is it, Marcia?
Yeah.
I thought it was Marcia.
It's spelled like Marcia, but it's Marcia Jensen.
Oh, okay. You know, even as bad as that was, and as bad as that continues to be, no one ever like threatened physical safety or like suggested that something should happen to these people. It's all been fairly like respectable disagreement. And
I mean, they wouldn't characterize it as that. I can tell you that for a fact.
I would ask them to
I
point
never
out
threatened
to me
anybody.
yeah,
And
I would ask them to point out to me where it was problematic.
I thought I was being very
You
respectful
were.
in the context. I mean,
You were.
like you hired a sex offender who did
Yeah, we have a sex
unmentionable
offender.
things
Yeah.
that unfortunately needed to be
Yeah.
mentioned. And
Yeah.
apparently that was disrespectful that I was mentioning. It's like, if you're going to hire the guy, you got to realize that
If you
it's going to
can't
come
say
up.
out loud what he did when he broke the law, then you have no business hiring him, my God.
Exactly. Yep.
And it's
That was, yep. That's how
but
it all started, because that's what I
exactly.
went in to tell the board. I wanted to read his charging document, his arraignment, and they wouldn't let me read it.
And as bad and contentious as this was, it was still there were not like vicious personal attacks intent on destroying another human being. Like there were not the kind of things that we're seeing happen where, you know, I mean,
At least not from my end.
could you
I mean, I
imagine
definitely heard
if
things coming from their end.
listen to what that man in Virginia said about wishing that the wife of the politician that he's running against would have her toddler die in her arms so that she could understand, so that they would change their vote, like as if
Well, sure, right?
it's
Like let's say when I was running against the SWAT candidates, if I said like, I hope someday that one of your grandchildren are, molested
it
so
was
that
way
you'd
worse
finally
than that, Chris.
understand. It's like I would never say that. I would
It was
never
so
wish
much
that upon
worse.
someone. But then again, I don't understand because these people do have children and grandchildren, and it baffles me how
So
you can sit there and work with a man who did certain things
yeah,
to minors that he was supposed to have under his care and then feed them to him. Here you
yep.
go, you little
But
sexual
it's
deviant.
worse.
Here's more little girls that you can be creepy around.
It's like if you had been in a room and been friendly with all of these people for 5 years or so, and you thought this the whole time, that you hope her little granddaughter gets molested so she can finally know how it feels. Let's say you'd worked with them since 2020 and you actually wrote this in text messages in 2022, but you were buddy with them. They
Oh
thought that
wow.
you were on their side, and you were secretly hoping
Yeah,
that
just bad character.
she would have to watch her granddaughter get sexually violated so that she could finally understand it. And then your text messages get revealed in 2025. And me, I come on here and I say, well, Chris is the victim because someone exposed his private text messages. That is a
Yeah.
perfect allegory for the situation that's happening right now in Virginia.
Oh
And
wow.
I'm
Yeah, I
just
wasn't aware.
grateful that we do not have that climate here in Coos County. And I think we need to do whatever we can to squash it anytime it comes up.
Well, that's what we're doing in the Republican Party, because I can tell you right now, there are people within the Republican Party going around and spreading the most disgusting, vile lies about me and Rob Taylor and some other people just because they don't agree with us. Making stuff up, spreading rumors, just completely ridiculous things. And they need to stop. So we're trying to stop it.
You
So it
know,
does happen, but it's not on a grand scale. You're right. And it's not like very public. But that's almost worse. You know, these people are such
it
cowards
is.
that they'll
It's
do it.
awful.
They'll do it behind our back. And when you confront them about it, they're like, I don't want to get into it,
I
but
don't think
it's
abusive
crazy.
speech should be protected speech. And then we have to define what abuse means.
Well,
But
this is straight up slander, the stuff they're doing now. I'm not litigious enough to go after them. If somebody else wants to, they would absolutely be able to. It's like
you'd have
provably
to prove
false
damage.
lies with the intent to damage. And there's damage.
Intent to are there provable damages?
I would think so at this point. Yeah.
You'd have to have lost something. What if
We're
you
getting
lost?
there. Well, they're trying to recall me, but I guess it's not like I don't get paid to be in the position I'm in as vice chair of the Republican Party. But there's enough. There's
That would
enough.
be actionable, though. That would be actionable if you could prove that did damage to your livelihood.
They are using provably false lies, and I'm talking like the most objectively provably false lies.
It's so dumb.
And they know they're lying.
Dumb people always do dumb
here's
stuff,
one.
you know?
Like they're going around telling people this is the dumbest thing ever. You won't believe it. They're going around telling people that I don't have a job. Like, first of all, why does that matter? But second of all, it's not true. And it's provably false. And I've confronted them about it and proved to them that that's false, and that they still continue to perpetuate that lie. And they're using that in their attack against me as to why I should be recalled. I should be recalled as the vice chair of the Republican Party because I have no employment. Bizarre, even if true, but it's not. It's false. That is textbook defamation, right?
It is.
Or like they're
But
using
he's already getting
in
sued.
the meeting minutes, they're saying that like one of the meetings back in April that I voted to put my name on it and have the Republican Party pay to put my name on a mailer. And that it was a conflict of interest because I used my position of power to vote to help my personal campaign for office, right? Here's the thing. I was actually the only no vote. Everybody else voted for it, and I voted no. I didn't just abstain, I voted no. I do not want my name on that because it is a conflict of interest. That is why I voted no, and it's in our minutes that I voted no. Yet they're using this in a document, sharing it with people to say that I have a conflict of interest and I should be removed because I have a conflict of interest because I voted to give myself campaign money, free campaign promotion. It's false, completely false. And they know this.
They're picking on you because
Right.
they would have had a letter from my lawyer so quick.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Well, and they won't give the judge this document. They won't give it to me. They won't give it to the judge.
But you got
And they
it.
think they're funny. Like, do you guys think if you're like, I'm sure they watch this because they can't help themselves. But it's like, guys, you think you're funny? You think I don't have that document? You don't think I have a way of getting it? You don't think that we'll eventually get you to produce it? It's just like, but it's also something that you'll eventually have to produce to the judge. And when you do,
right.
And I'll also make, maybe we'll go down that road and I'll make you produce the minutes and I'll make you prove your own lie. Like, guys, you're stupid.
If they do, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to say
It's
it.
defamation.
Let them do it. Hey, you guys should really keep.
I'm letting them keep going, guys. Keep going. Make it worse. Give me some damages
in my brain, and so this may
recall me. Go for it.
You guys should just run this train into the ground.
Yep.
Take it all away.
Yep. And they're using this not only to recall us, but they're using this to prevent. It's up to like 45 now. We have 45 people wanting to be PCPs, wanting to be appointed.
Yeah.
And they're using their hatred towards me and Rob and a few other people to prevent these other people who have nothing to do with us. Some of these people are like people I've just recently met
I
in the
know.
past couple of weeks and only
Yeah.
talked to for maybe a couple minutes at best. Some of them are people I've never even met in my life. I don't even know them, but they are
Yeah.
using this to prevent them, and it's insane. This is, but that's why the
Keep it
whole
up.
leadership needs to get out of there.
Because it's,
People are
this is
crazy.
just like one link in the chain, and we got to start breaking links. And you're doing it. I mean, man,
Can you believe that though? Like, dude doesn't have a job.
it's so dumb because
It's
you're right.
so
It is
dumb.
so easy to prove that that's false. And it's so irrelevant. Lots
So
of people
irrelevant.
don't work. Why you're
So
not
so what? So I'm independently wealthy. I'm not, but let's say I
right.
was.
Well,
Okay. What is
maybe
that?
I just
Is
live
that
off of my rich husband. Like people are
maybe I'm
allowed to
homeless?
still
Does that make me any
participate.
different of a person? Like, and by the way, you all voted for me. I got fairly elected to be
Yeah.
vice chair. So what does that have anything to do with me? Why would I be recalled? Because like that's the other thing. It's like they name things that are. I talked about this on another show. Like I I cannot rectify. Is that the word? Like I can't fix these things. Like what? Like so if I
Yes.
go and get a job, if I go get a job at Walmart, can I stay? Can I be your vice chair? Like would that help? You know what I mean? Like what? I don't know.
And it was, I mean, it's like that on purpose. They're creating a no-win situation. And
Yes.
you have to really watch for people who have a habit of creating no-win situations. Look for
Yep.
it, all of you in your lives. Look for people who it's always a, well, that it can't do that. Oh, that won't work. Nope, nope, not good enough because of this. And they just set these arbitrary, petty little hurdles that you can never seem to make it all the way over. Get those people out of your life. And if you want to learn how, contact me. I'm a life coach. I'm really great at helping people set boundaries.
There you go.
We'll
I'm
shameless.
learning in life that I have a knack. I have an intuition for just knowing these people when I shake their hand. Like I don't know what it is, but I can sense it. My radar goes off, and it's like I'm learning that I have to be more tactful in explaining it and showing it to people because what happens is like I instantly get those vibes from these people, and they're instantly like we're enemies. Like we're it's just like right out of the gate, we're not going to get along. We're enemies, and people who are like spectators watching, they're
Yeah.
like, Chris doesn't know how to work with people. Chris doesn't get along with, and I'm like, I'm not going to work with that person. I mean, like, I will, like, if we, like, are we working on something constructive? Sure. But, like, I don't need to small talk. I don't need
Yeah.
to be your friend. I don't want to be any, like you said, setting boundaries. That's my boundary. I don't want you near me. I don't want you in my life. But sure, if we're on an executive committee together and we have to make decisions together and have to work together, I'll work with you in that regard. But they approach it, these spectators, approach it from the opposite. They want people to look like they're getting along. They're not actually looking for people
Yes.
to be constructively getting along. They want the appearance of a cohesion, and that's not going to ever be me. But
That's a very toxic kind of goal.
yeah,
Um,
that's our city councils are like that right now. That's North Bend, like last year or 2 years ago. That was the whole deal with what was her name? The one city councilor they tried to kick. Well, they didn't kick her off. They censured her, and then she did ended up losing the election. But um, starts with an S, I think. But anyways, a North Bend city councilor like just didn't get along with them. Like when it came down to constructive stuff, like she worked with them, she went to all the meetings, she worked through things logically and voiced her concerns about stuff, but she just like wasn't in their little friend circle. So essentially they didn't like the way she acted, so they went after her. And it was like, guys, 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 So now they have their perfect little friend group, so they can all get along and do God's work on the North Bend City
Well,
Council.
listen, if they're producing good work, the proof is in the pudding. But if you're doing shady things like manipulating business, and I guess that type of stuff never leads to like really great leadership when people are being excluded. But who knows? I don't know the woman who was booted, so I don't know what kind of dynamic was going on there. I don't know anything about that,
I
but
met her and I had great conversations with her, and she seemed logical and reasonable to me. But these people didn't want to work with her, and they would show that they didn't like her. So like when they were talking with her in a city council meeting, they would agitate her, and then they'd get in a fight with her, and then they would use that to point to her and say like, look, she doesn't know how to work with people. She's unreasonable. She's crazy. It's like, no, I just don't think you guys know how to listen to somebody with an
the
opposing
gaslighting her.
viewpoint. Yeah. Oh yeah. Whole 100%. Yep. I was sitting in the meetings, and then you'd see like a
Ew.
press release come out about the meeting, and it's like, that's not at all what happens. And they're recorded. People can watch them. And it's like, you guys are nuts. But I wish I knew her name. I don't know. It starts with an S.
I'm really comfortable with the commissioner role now as I'm learning more and more about what the commissioner actually does. And all of this petty crap at the city council levels is not going to be really any of my business. Like, I have no reason to get involved with this kind of stuff unless I'm asked to be involved with it. And I'm going to have my hands full doing county level stuff. And so I'm a little bit grateful for that, because I don't think I would like to be involved in some of that more political back and forth stuff. And of course, it'll be really nice to help and collaborate wherever I'm invited to help and collaborate. But just knowing that I'm not responsible for fixing any of this stuff that's going on at the city levels was really reassuring, because I was like, man, I don't really want to be involved in that stuff.
But there is a huge opportunity if you wanted to be. If there was, there's like in terms of the crime stuff, like that was a big thing I was
Yeah.
hoping to be able to do, is like collaborate with the cities on a solution and work out. But there's opportunity there for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of, and that's why I say where I'm asked, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that goes on that is just it's on a local level, and it should be managed at a local level. But yeah, there's times when the county comes in and is a part of facilitating growth or facilitating development and stuff like that.
Nordoff. Forget her first name. Councilor Nordoff from the North Bend City Council. Do you remember that? No.
With that. I like, when was it? Over the spring? When did that happen?
Susanna Nordoff. That's what it was.
Susanna.
Probably a year ago. Yeah. Their elections would have been like last November. So it was like last summer leading up to the elections.
Okay.
But I don't know. It was just nuts. They just didn't like her. They could not get along with her. I even stayed after the meetings and had lengthy conversations with city councilors, trying to guys, I get it, you don't like her, but why are you give me a concrete objective reason why you're excluding her. Why does she not deserve to be a city councilor anymore? And they would just give me these essentially personality conflicts that they were having with her. They just didn't like her personality. It's that's not a reason. It's essentially the same argument that these idiots from the Republican Party are trying to get me out of the party. They're just we just don't like him. He just, he doesn't have a job. He just doesn't have a job. Okay.
I love your impression.
That's what they do. They get all anybody in that position. That's what they get. They get all, because they don't have an answer. They don't have a real answer, so they have to get.
Well, there's going to be, it sucks to see them being petty, because we have some very serious issues coming up on the horizon for Coos County.
We're in the middle of an election.
We're heading for a financial cliff. We've got a hospital to save. The Cook Hill ambulance is going under. And these are problems. The state is not going to give us money because we are not even taxing our own people at the same rate that other counties are taxing their people. So no, the state isn't going to give us money to backfill the gap that we're not taxing our people. So we have a hospital to save. And this whole, I'm going to like play the OHP, keep me occupied because I'm bored game. Like literally there are people who are using our medical services. I was like, I'm sick. And they get an ambulance ride and the ER is like, there's nothing wrong with you. They were telling me about a guy that they brought in 3 times in 1 week. And there's nothing wrong with him.
I've heard they use it to get a ride from one part of town to the other.
Yep.
The fire department, they hate that.
The Coos County taxpayers are looking at these public systems and they're saying, we're not going to pay for this. So listen, city council people, you've got some big issues on your hands. Like this, man, and the political parties are such a waste of freaking oxygen at this point. And what you're doing is amazing work, but the effort that you've had to go through just to be a functioning group is pathetic. Like we have such bigger issues. No, it's insane that like our hospital is facing massive decreases in service, massive cutbacks to service. And these people are fighting because like, oh, we don't like them.
Yep.
It's crazy. Like we have way bigger problems on our hands, you guys. The hospital is facing a $14 million a year deficit. That's a gap that we have to close. That's what we have to fix to keep our hospital afloat. And you know what the number one cost to healthcare is? Diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and that's reversible.
We should put a moratorium on
sugar,
on fast food.
It's sugar.
No, we don't.
I mean, obviously we can't ban foods, but like getting people to understand that like food stamps, I guess they changed the food stamps so you can't buy junk, you can't buy candy and soda and stuff with it anymore. Like why would the federal government subsidize the exact thing that is causing the biggest health problem in America?
No, like that's something I do support. Absolutely. Like I think it was New York City wasn't Giuliani, somebody, Bloomberg or somebody, was it Bloomberg? They used the sizes of sodas.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't get a large.
But it's dumb.
Like, that's not cool. But right, if I mean, shit, when you mentioned that I ran ultra marathons, it's like you're essentially drinking soda. Like you're drinking sugar. That's what you're running on for hours. And I mean, sometimes 10 hours, 15 hours throughout the day.
Did you ever run on ketone energy?
On what?
On ketone energy? Did you ever put yourself in ketosis?
What's that?
Really?
Like running off of fat and protein?
So if you put your body into ketosis, your body actually produces ketones out of fat. So you begin burning.
Yeah, you can. You can. If I was doing a longer race, yes. Like if you're running slower, absolutely.
You can. But if you're running too fast, you have to burn simple.
Right. If you're going like under like 8 or 9 minute mile pace, you can't really consume fat or protein. I mean, your body will, like if it needs to, it will. Like if anybody's ever ended a run and they smell like ammonia, it's because your body's eating your muscles, and it's producing ammonia as a byproduct, and that's the smell.
Wow.
But so it's a thing your body does, but no, to be at optimal like performance, it's pretty much straight sugar, and there's different types of sugar. But like I have literally just drank soda and run on that. So my point in saying any of this was, if I want a goddamn large soda, I'm allowed to get it. Like, come on, people. But if I'm being provided food stamps from the government to help me through a hardship, then no, I do not need soda. I need actual nourishment like real
That's what that
sustainable
program should be
food,
for.
which is
Nutrition.
mostly fat and protein, for long-term sustainable, like actually no, protein. It's like most diets in America are high in carbs and fat. So
I would say
protein is expensive. And so if I need assistance, if I need monetary assistance for my meals, I need that money to be able to provide the right
exactly.
nutrition to my family, which is probably going to be protein, is going to be the highest cost in my budget, not sugar and fat.
Yeah, you know where sugar is on the nutritional needs?
Well, sugar, sure, very low.
No, it's not there. As it turns
Right.
out, no one needs sugar ever. Like you don't need it. It's not a nutrition that like it's not you straight up can live without it your whole life, never touching it. That's a fact. You know what you can't live without? Protein. It'll totally
Oh.
screw your brain up. It'll screw your body up. You will overeat without enough protein and you will become fat. You will become insulin resistant. You will become type 2 diabetic and you will become sick. So eat more protein. And
I'm
if you
in
need
favor
to
of
know how to
balanced
do it,
diet. But
get a
yeah,
hold of me. I'm really good at it.
there you go. But no, like when you go to the store and you're like, what costs the most? It's the protein. So yeah, removing sugar purchases, especially like refined sugar, like soda. Come on,
Yeah.
food stamps to buy
Yeah.
soda, or gummies, or
And I don't
or
care if
those
you're
Hostess
buying
cupcakes.
steaks. Like steaks are one of the most nutritionally dense, good for you foods that you can eat. And I got to tell you, man, I'm really getting sick of these dietitians and nutritionists that are literally coaching people into diabetes. Like telling
Really?
people
There's people like all carb diet?
it's like 50% carbs,
No,
dude.
that's crazy. I had a coworker
It is
once that was on
crazy.
a full fat diet. He would eat sticks of butter at his desk.
I've done something like I did keto
Oh
and I would
no.
take like extra olive oil and avocado oil and MCT oil to kick it into gear.
Oh
I never
man.
ate butter though. That's insane.
He would eat butter.
I
Sit
will
there and eat
say that
butter.
I did 6 months of ketogenic diet and I tested my blood for ketones. I tested my blood for blood sugar levels. I tested my triglycerides and LDL and kept track of all those measures for 6 months. And it completely like reset my body.
Hmm.
It was incredible. Like straight up, I felt 10 years younger. And as soon as I started, and I crept back into the unhealthy foods, the complex or the simple carbohydrates and the sugars and stuff, sugary foods. And I'm like, God, I feel like shit. And I don't know why.
Right?
It has
You know what I
something to do
appreciate about this conversation is that we're both healthy looking people. I cannot stand when you're talking with someone who like does not look healthy and they're like trying to push all this like nutritional advice
I
on
know.
you. And you're like the butter eating coworker of mine. He didn't look the healthiest and he's eating butter at his desk. And I was doing triathlons and ultra marathons at the time and I was very fit. And like he was rejecting any of my advice. And I'm like, you're insane. Anyways. Oh, we got a comment from Sir Doug Washington.
Sir Doug of the Basin.
Yes.
See,
Refined
I'm
sugar is
telling
my
you
drug.
right here. When you tell people that sugar is what makes them sick, they go, and like they'll come after you, dude. Like you try to take sugar away from people and they will shank you like a crackhead protecting their stash.
There's definitely like a rebound. Like anytime I've tried to go on a diet, they'll like I'll do good for like a day or two, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm sitting there, I've got candy, I've got ice cream, everything that's bad, and I'm like, I don't care, you know. But not everybody has to be healthy. Doug, you have earned the right to not be healthy.
He can do whatever he wants. He's
But
absolutely
don't
feral
but
and
people
legal.
shouldn't pretend that eating candy is healthy. That's
Right.
wild.
Well, the thing is when we're like when I said about dietitians and nutritionists, I was not being like vague in general. I'm talking directly about the individual who works at Cook Hill Hospital. Um, I'm a coach in this area. So I'm starting to work with clients who are working with other people in this area. And this person that I'm working with now told me that they have learned more in the last 2 sessions because we just started working together. In 2 sessions, this person has learned more about learning which foods are best for their body than they have working with this nutritionist or dietitian or whatever this entire time. This person has told me that they basically show up and just tell the dietitian what they're doing, and the dietitian just says, "Oh, okay, that sounds good." Well, she's overweight, like not like having pain, having all of these, like it's not all right. And my client is now expressing like frustration to me. And all I'm thinking is how many more? How many more people are not getting what they need to change the habits that they need to change to turn their life around, to turn their health around? And I would say probably a lot, because what we're doing is we're placing these, oh, you have to be certified. So once you need a certification to get a job, you know how much more that certification costs?
You're asking the guy who doesn't have a job, so
Thousands
I
of
don't.
times more. I mean, as soon as you need a certification. So they're saying, oh, as long as this person has a certification, they're competent in their role. Dude, stop just going by certifications and
Yeah,
actually take the time to give people tests and like check in on them. So what they need to do at Coquille Hospital is give a client satisfaction survey. They need to mail this person's clients satisfaction surveys in the mail, and they need to be adjusting how this person coaches their clients according to feedback. Because it's really, there's no merit. There's no benchmarking. There's no like, you're actually performing up to this standard. It's wild.
I think that's crossed the board in our society at this
It
point.
is.
But no, people should look into being healthy because most people wait until it's too late. You're like, oh my gosh, I just got diagnosed as diabetic. Now
Yeah.
it's time for me to like eat healthy. And it's like
Yeah.
sometimes that damage is already done.
Well,
And
and
that
it's like,
goes for me too. Like I recently dropped like 20 pounds because I got to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I doing to myself and my body?
do you get
And
chunky?
yeah, I
And
run for office. You get like stress, you're stress eating, and you're busy all the time, so you're eating out,
yeah.
and a lot of fried food, and yikes. I wasn't running as much, I wasn't exercising, not
And
going
all
for
that fried
walks.
food is fried in inflammatory oils, you know? This,
Yep.
and when you, none of these dietitians and nutritionists are teaching people that like vegetable oil will probably make your joints hurt. Like bread, tortillas probably makes your joints hurt if you're a normal average person. But I think most of us live in so much inflammation and so much pain because we're eating all of these artificial ingredients that our body can't digest. And so we're just inflamed because it's irritating to our system. And they're in so much pain all the time that they don't actually know what it feels like to not be in pain. So if you could be pain free for a week and then eat that slice of pizza and feel the effects of it come on, that's when you know. But until you get a person to a point where they're actually eating healthy food and, like Sir Doug of Basin said, actually feeling amazing, it's like you don't know what you don't know. And dietitians and nutritionists are entrenched in the standard American diet. Bro, the standard American diet will give you diabetes. I've like, when I did keto, I dug deep into the research and was like, oh my God, we should not be eating this much of this stuff. It just doesn't work for most bodies.
Well, we didn't used to when we were kids. I mean, I don't know. I'm just assuming, I guess, but it's like when I was a kid, like you went to McDonald's, like it was a treat. You didn't go every day. You didn't
Oh,
like
I
eat
ate
it
a
for lunch all the
terrible,
time. Did you?
I was
I
not,
didn't.
no, we didn't go to fast food, but like as a child, I was given like a little tiny tub of cereal like the poor people get at school. and it's like 120 calories, and a little carton of milk that's maybe like 50 calories. And that's all I got to eat. So of course I was on this sugar roller coaster by 10, 11,
But at least
starving.
you weren't overeating, but not the greatest.
I mean,
But yeah,
no, it was horrible. It was poverty food sucks, dude. Like cereal is like one of the absolute worst foods out there, and that's what we feed kids.
they spray it with powdered vitamins and they all collect in the bottom. So like what you're reading on there is not, unless you lick the plastic at the end, you're not getting those vitamins.
No. And it's so when I go on a meal planner, because I play with apps and stuff all the time because I'm always recommending stuff to my clients. And so I'm always trying out new things and researching stuff. And I was trying this meal planner. So I plug in what I have. And dude, it brings up having rolled oats, fruit, and yogurt for breakfast. I would be sick by 10 a.m. if I ate that because I would be on a blood sugar roller coaster. I would have a spike, then I would have a plummet, and by 10 a.m., I'd have the shakes. Instead, like a sane person, I eat spinach, eggs, and black beans for breakfast. And I'll eat
That
300
sounds
calories
good.
of
I don't have
that.
the time to make that in
It's
the morning.
delicious. Oh, super quick. And I hang out with my bird while I do it.
There you go.
And, I'm full off of 300 calories until
Yeah.
like 12:30.
Yeah.
And it's just insane to me. And I cook everything in avocado oil. It's healthy oils. And so it's like,
People
what
have never
should-
experienced that. Like it's crazy once you first start to eat healthy and you're like, I actually enjoy this and it feels better and it's working. Because
yeah.
it's but then you go back and like I've been on both sides of that, right? Like I've sat there and in the morning I'll eat like 4 or 5 donuts with my coffee and I feel like shit and I'm hungry in 2 hours.
Dude,
But then
I've
but then
noticed.
yeah, I've eaten just a piece of steak in the morning. And
Yeah.
just even that, it's like I'm full for a while and I don't feel like shit.
Yeah. You know what I'll tell people? An average venti like frappuccino from Starbucks is about 700 calories. You know how easy that is for people to suck down? They just power
Wow.
right through that. You sit down and chew through 700 calories of steak.
Or yeah, spinach and eggs and all that. Well, I guess eggs are
Yeah.
pretty kind of fatty, but yeah.
Yeah. And now we're actually starting to see scientific research prove that eating more protein later in the day actually satiates the body.
Hmm.
And that if you don't hit a protein percentage in your meals, you will keep eating, like whether it be snacking, you'll overeat
Yep.
because you're not meeting your protein needs. And I just like, man, I try to work with all people, but there's certain diets that just are not going to satiate the human body. They're not what we evolved on. And when people start to go down the ideological road as I eat this way because of my beliefs, dude, your 30,000 years of evolution doesn't care about your beliefs. Like,
I think the first step I always tell people when I'm giving them when advice on nutrition is just record what you're eating. Like there's
yeah,
apps for this and they'll even it's easy to put in your food, like if you're
yeah,
even if you're out to eat or you can even scan barcodes, they do that. But just
yeah.
putting in your food and then it'll show you the nutrition you're getting at the end of the day. That is like just
MyFitnessPal.
do it for one day. Just one day. It's usually mind-blowing. But have a hypothesis going in too. Like actually challenge yourself. Be like, what do you think you're getting? Like, do you think you're getting like 20% protein in your diet, 40% protein? How much fat do you think you're getting? And like think what do you think you should be getting? And then at the end of that day, look at it because I guarantee you it's not even close to what you think it
And then
is.
look at the nutrition that you're getting.
Right. No, not a lot of vitamins. And
Yeah. And it's, I
also
never,
there's you can really deep dive into like the different types of carbs and proteins and fats and how they bind
oh,
together in your
yeah.
body and how your body consumes them.
And how you
Anyways,
can
we're
actually,
getting nerdy now.
I know you can eat certain foods together that will mitigate the blood sugar spike. Like if you want to have dark chocolate, pair it with something fatty or pair it with nuts. So dark chocolate with almonds. because the fat and the protein in those almonds is actually going to blunt the blood sugar, the insulin response to the blood sugar. So there's all kinds of tricks like that. And it's always like, obviously I have the way I eat and I tend to change it up throughout the year, and I'll do different protocols and stuff like that. But I always tell people to you got to work with their diet. And so it's never a top-down imposition. I never recommend that people go with these stringent kind of diets to just get to the goal, because once you get there, if it's not sustainable and it's not how you live your life, you're going to fall off and you're going to gain the weight right back. It's all about being sustainable. Protein, man.
We've
and
covered
if
a lot today.
Needs help, I am having surgery on the 16th. So I have some downtime where I'm not going to be able to be doing stuff. So for people who need help getting that sorted out, if you've got joint pain, lethargy, insomnia, if you feel run down, it's highly likely that it's your diet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you're just getting old. Or you're eating too many lemon heads, Doug.
I thought that too until I went on the keto diet, and all of the things that I was struggling with went away. And what's crazy is when I stopped doing keto, the symptoms didn't come back. I started to feel like
you had retrained your body to eat properly.
Yeah. Well, it's not
to consume things properly.
Once, because I started consuming carbohydrates again, and I started kind of doing rice and corn. I don't do well with wheat. I can do some sourdough, but I started kind of like dropping it in little by little, and I still felt great. And it wasn't until I decided to start bulking again and started pounding down foods that I wouldn't normally eat. And sure enough, everything started to hurt again. I think I even grew more gray hair.
All right.
I swear, I had less. I haven't caught a hair. Okay, I've caught one hair that did go back to brown, like where you could see it degrade, and then part of the way through.
Oh wow, is that a thing?
Yes, it is a thing. I've only found one hair that it did it with, though.
Okay.
It is a thing. Wow. So it has to do with God, I forget what it is now. It's like a specific enzyme or a specific protein or something like that turns on and off, or a specific protein that turns the genes on and off. That might be what it was. But it's basically gray hair can be a nutritional deficiency. And a lot of times nutritional deficiencies can come from stress, or the stress blocks that protein production or that enzyme production or whatever it was. But yeah, it is related to how our body uptakes nutrients. It's wild.
Very interesting show we have had tonight.
We're kind of all over the place, huh?
I liked it though. It was like just having a conversation. The first couple of times we talked on the phone, I was like, this should be it. Yeah. We don't need anything fancy. Yeah. I mean, it would be great. Again, we've always said, like, it'd be great to have people to interview and people to join us on the show. If anybody ever wants to, we'd love to interview people and get to know them. But it's also always good. Like, I have these conversations with people like you and Rob and Perry and other people, and it's like, this is good stuff. Like, this is stuff that should be aired and talked about. And I hope people enjoy it, and I hope it's relevant and helpful to people, and it
this
gets
is
them
the
thinking.
Kind of stuff I watch when I'm like doing something and I want like talk radio and in the background. I'll put on podcasts or YouTube shows, or it's basically just people like us talking about the kind of topics that we're interested in and sharing what they know about it. And I think when you build just a community of people doing that, it's a good way to share information.
What I liked is that it feels agenda free. I hope we convey that to people, but that was kind of the idea I had for all of this, is like to get people on the show that don't have an agenda. We're not interviewing people just to help them promote something. Like, it's just real, authentic conversations.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there wants to have real, authentic conversations, hit us up.
Come on the show. I would say if you're a person who has something really interesting that you're a nerd about and that you would like to share, come on and tell us about it. that again, that's the stuff I watch. I like to watch people just kind of talk about the random stuff that they're interested in and nerd out on it.
Very
You
cool.
could be the next guest on the citizen
There you go.
Coos County Citizen Council.
I really liked Sheena, your friend Sheena. That was a good
Yeah.
interview.
Oh God, she's the best. She's going to come and
That
hang
was
out
fun.
with me a little bit post surgery. It's hopefully, I've struggled with some really severe chronic pain for about 7 years and tried every option to deal with it. And it just is what it is. Like I have a wonky uterus and it won't behave. So they're taking it out. And I'm really hoping that after this is said and done, I'll kind of have some of my old energy back, because it's a pretty, the pain drains you. But while I'm recovering, so it's a thing where you have to take 6 weeks off and you can't lift anything heavier than 6 pounds. And I don't want to travel because I can't lift 6 pounds. If a car hits me, it's going to screw my insides all up. So I'm kind of like totally potatoing for 6 weeks. So Sheena's one of my buddies that's going to come and take a day off and come and hang out with me.
You better eat healthy. I want to see you sit on the couch eating donuts.
I don't think I
You'll
could get
turn
away
into a
with it.
potato.
I know. I've done that before, and it was under doctor's orders. Actually, I had to become sedentary and gain weight.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And I was successful, and it fixed it. I literally had doctors tell me that I needed to eat more animal fat. So that's weird. But yeah, so if you're anybody that needs, my goal actually is I've been preparing a whole bunch of meal prep stuff so that I have like really high protein meals ready. And I've been doing all of this like meal prep research and how do I get this all together so it's easy to make and stuff. So if you're a person who is interested in going through a diet change protocol, right now is a great time to enroll in my program, because I'm going to be going through it with you. That's kind of the only agenda I really have. If we want to talk about agendas, I just want to get people to go through coaching. I kind of
I think
don't
that's
even,
an okay agenda.
yeah, I don't even
You
care if
know?
it's coaching with me. Just coaching is such
Yeah.
a wonderful thing so that's kind of that's my shtick.
We need more people to pursue independent careers, not be so
I
dependent on the
agree.
system. So
I agree. Become your own
that's my
boss.
agenda.
Is your employer not paying you enough? Become your own boss and start your own company.
There you go. All right. Well, we doubled. We went 2 hours today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That went by
It's all
fast.
good. I was gonna text you and be like, I don't know if we should do this. I've got a headache and I have nothing to talk about. But I've said that before and we've totally been fine. And look at it, we talked for 2
Yeah.
hours. So there
How's
you
your
go.
headache? You feeling okay?
I feel better right now, but it's been past like front of head thing. I think allergies, who knows?
For
But
you. Yeah.
yeah.
Try
But
a Benadryl.
we had our sheep were getting uh out of our property somehow, and we do have like part of our property not fenced, but it's like heavily wooded, and they were appearing on the far other end of the property. So I'm like, what? But I guess they were going out the woods that way, all the way around, and then escaping. So we had to fence in the woods, put a fence through the woods, and it was like mostly like 15-foot salmon berries and ferns and like very densely forested brush. And I had to like hack through hundreds and hundreds of feet of it. And I'm pretty sure that's why I have a headache,
Yeah.
allergies from that.
Yep.
Lots of pollen. So
Yep. I get that. I get
God
the
bless chainsaws.
nose sprayer thing where you spray the saline up in your nose to rinse it out. Like if I
Yeah.
weed eat or something, I have to be really like I have to shower after I weed eat because I'm allergic to grass.
And I got poison oak. I didn't even know there was poison oak out here. Such bullshit. Like on
Oh,
my
dude,
fingers.
poison oak is everywhere here.
I didn't think I
It's
was, but you're further inland. I didn't think it was out. I'm on the coast. So I don't know. But I got it.
I'm sorry,
So
man.
it's out there. But
I've got some
well, when I
clean.
know about it, I wash with Techno. It removes the oils. So that's how
Yes.
you get it off. but I didn't know. So anywho,
Yep.
well,
All
see you
right.
next Wednesday.
We'll wrap it up and we'll see you next Wednesday. Take care.